everybody, this is your girl Vanessa for Chicago News Alert. Okay, so let's get into these stories. My sources is ABC Witness News. Okay, so Raymond P. Schroeder, 42, was arrested after midnight at 31st Street, east of First Avenue. He's a resident of North Riverside. He was charged with 3 counts of driving under the influence of substances and alcohol and prescription drugs. The officer found him sitting behind the wheel, damaged car in the inner lane of the street. Drag marks that was trailed to the car, visible on the road. He failed all sobriety tests and refused a breathalyzer. In 2015, he was taken to custody twice under arrest warrant. See, the police saying that it's going to even get worse when the holidays come. So at least they got him off the road. Yeah, this is just sad. Check out more videos about other news after this.
Is still here in the hospital in critical condition. Meanwhile, police want you to take a good look at this picture. Take a look. Police releasing this photo of a silver Dodge Caravan minivan. Authorities say it will have extensive damage to the front driver's side. It was last seen traveling eastbound on 58th Street from Racine Avenue. Police believe the minivan drove onto the sidewalk yesterday morning near a corner store in the Englewood neighborhood. A surveillance camera captured the Dodge plowing into a crowd of people. We've stopped the video before impact. 52-year-old Connie Mangrum was killed and 19-year-old Javante Kirkland was badly injured. Mangrum was a grandmother loved by many.
She touched a lot of people's lives. She was friends with a lot of people. She always had advice for you. She definitely always had a smile.
After the impact, the driver kept going, leaving victims in the street. Witnesses say they believe the act was deliberate. The driver heading into oncoming traffic, then navigating past a truck that was parked on the curb. Last night, Mangrum's loved ones held a vigil as they struggled to understand why this happened. Meanwhile, police are hoping that the public will have information to help them solve this case.
Back up approaching this scene, Mark. I just got an update from IDOT. They confirmed this morning that I-57 should be reopened in about a half hour to 40 minutes. You can see, though, it is still closed. IDOT vehicles are blocking traffic. You cannot go any further than 127th in the northbound lanes of I-57. This is what we know. State police were called in before 2 o'clock this morning. A vehicle was apparently hit by bullets near 119th in the northbound lanes. The driver of the car was not hurt, but we did get a chance to see that vehicle, and it is riddled with bullets. State police have not yet released a motive, or they haven't even said whether the shooting was intentional. As I mentioned, IDOT just confirmed for us this morning that they should reopen these lanes in about a half hour to 40 minutes. The traffic, there's about a mile, a little more than a mile back up right now. Again, this is all going northbound after the shooting this morning.
Someone must have seen something. Kiara Coles lives on this block. She was friendly with her neighbors. Her father, who lives in Wisconsin, has been staying in this neighborhood for the last 2 weeks, trying to find his missing daughter. Somebody's got to know something.
Yes, they do. Whoever it might be knows something.
And for you, you're committed to being here until you get an answer.
Yes, I am. I will not leave.
Tonight, Coles is joined by anti-violence activist Andrew Holmes and several of her co-workers from the post office. All say they have no idea why she called in sick to work that day. A security camera in the neighborhood captured images of her leaving her apartment that morning, dressed for work, but walking past her car in another direction.
And we're not going to sit idly by, and we're not going to rest until we find our sister.
She'd recently told friends that she was expecting her first child. She was 3 months pregnant. She has worked as a letter carrier for the past couple of years. Her union has put up the majority of a $3,500 reward for information on her whereabouts.
Come back, Kiara. We miss you. We love you. Just come home. then lead us that way.
They are praying for answers, hoping for the best, but fearing the worst.
I guarantee you we're going to find out what happened to her. We'll be in court if there was any foul play.
Chicago police tell me tonight there is nothing new in their investigation. They continue to treat this as a non-suspicious missing persons case. However, the postal inspector has now also joined the investigation. At Chicago
delivery just to bring some comfort to a man who is dying and his family. Dalton Schaefer drove 3 hours each way from Steve's Pizza in Battle Creek, Michigan, to deliver 2 pizza pies to Rich Morgan in Indianapolis, Indiana. He was moved to make the gesture after Morgan's father-in-law told him how much he loved that particular pizza and how he couldn't grab a slice because he is in hospice dying of cancer. Schaefer made the delivery, even though Steve's Pizza does not even deliver.
That's such a sweet gesture and very heartwarming.
$70 million if you decide to take the cash option. Let's see, $548 million in your pocket. It's the second largest lotto jackpot in U.S. history. The drawing rose from $667 million on Tuesday when no one had the lucky 6 numbers. If you care, the odds of winning, 1 in over 300 million, but someone has to win, right? So it's got a lot of people that normally don't play Mega Millions or the Lotto flocking to get this Mega Millions ticket. The next drawing, by the way, is tonight at 10 o'clock.
Before lunchtime here at the Patio Restaurant in Orland Park. Now tonight, several South Suburban police departments are still looking for a man police say is responsible for 2 armed carjackings, hitting 2 people and leading police on a wild chase that spread through several towns and has lasted hours into the night. A late morning meetup with a coworker at the Patio in Orland Park.
A friend of mine needed to use my car to pick up his mom.
Didn't quite pan out like Mark Wallin expected.
Walking over there, where's my car? And he says, hey, Mark, got some bad news. I was carjacked at gunpoint.
By the time Wallin pulled in at the Patio, police were already there.
You could hear on the police radio that the car had been involved in an accident down at 159th and Cicero.
Wallin's stolen car didn't survive. Police say as the fleeing driver tried to turn north on Cicero, he ran down a construction worker. Witnesses say the worker tried desperately to duck the speeding Dodge Charger, throwing his hands up as a warning, but too late. Police say the driver bailed out and ran with Oak Forest police officers on his heels. For the second time in a matter of minutes, police say the suspect stole another car, pulling a driver from a Mazda at gunpoint. As police tried desperately to arrest him, they say the driver ran down the officer, who then fired at the fleeing car. Police say last anyone saw this fleeing suspect was at the intersection of 159th and Pulaski, headed eastbound. He was driving that white Mazda at the time, but most importantly tonight, police tell us both the officer and the construction worker are expected to be okay, but tonight they are still looking for that suspect.
In custody, Judy. They were arrested on the south side. This happened here on the north side in Edgewater. However, the suspects apparently drove the vehicle where they were later arrested to Hyde Park on the south side. It was about midnight when the 47-year-old woman was parking her car. She was surrounded by at least 5 young men, one of whom was displaying a gun. Heather Bennett heard the screaming from outside her bedroom window.
She was in the alleyway just screaming bloody murder at top of her lungs, saying, help, call 911, help, call 911, help, call 911.
It's the latest in a string of carjackings and thefts in the last few weeks on the north side. Last week, 3 vehicles were stolen in Lincoln Park and Lakeview in the space of just 2 hours. Police believe the same suspects were responsible for all 3.
I definitely think about it, yeah, and probably have reined in how much I'm going out at night.
The victim of the latest incident was not injured. It turns out she was an off-duty Chicago police detective.
And then as they're turning left, she's like, I was just robbed, I was carjacked, they're heading to Sheridan. She knew exactly what to do.
And there were extra officers in the area at the time working on recent homicide cases in Rogers Park. They were able to spot the stolen Lexus SUV and follow it until backups arrived. They later recovered the vehicle where the suspects abandoned it near 55th and South Shore Drive. They arrested 5 suspects and recovered a gun a short time later.
It was phenomenal. I was glad that they caught these 5 juveniles. I mean, and now they should make them an example.
Yeah, Raul Montez, the activist, calling for stronger sentences in these cases. Also for juveniles in many of these cases to be prosecuted as adults. Police, again, have not identified the suspects in custody in this case. However, several of them are believed to be juveniles.
Revolutionary treatment for breast cancer.
This is the first drug that's being tested for this reason.
And the active ingredient in that is
4-hydroxytamoxifen.
It's the first time tamoxifen, a drug used for decades to reduce the risk and recurrence of breast cancer, is being tested as a topical gel, a potentially safer option with no known side effects. The current pill form of tamoxifen, which has been very effective in treating breast cancer, can cause hot flashes, fatigue, and in some cases, cancer of the uterus and stroke.
It's a way of delivering drug to the breast and protecting the rest of the body.
The target patient group right now, those in the earliest stages of breast cancer.
This is DCIS, where the tumor cells are still inside the duct.
DCIS, or ductal carcinoma in situ, the exact diagnosis former Chicago Tribune writer Patricia Tennyson received earlier this year.
So I just got the news and went, oh. You take a breath and go, okay, well, what's next?
Tennyson agreed to participate in the clinical trial before her surgery, using the gel and taking a pill. One of them is a placebo. The goal is to see if both work just as well in fighting cancer cells.
We hope it will decrease the growth rate of the cells, and it will really provide very important information to help other women in the future.
After her successful surgery, Tennyson is today free of breast cancer and hoping what researchers have tapped into will change the future of breast cancer treatments.
What I'm doing in these tests may help my daughter and probably surely my granddaughter from having to go through the same path I went on.
So this is a blind study. Neither the patient nor the doctor knows if they're taking the pill or the experimental gel as a placebo. Northwestern is one of 6 hospitals nationwide that continues to recruit more patients for this clinical trial. The results may come in 2 years. You can find more information on our website about this clinical trial at abc7chicago.com.
That's